In 1995, Marvel Comics decided to publish something called Avengers Unplugged. It was a limited series, although it wasn't necessarily advertised as such, and it was kind of I'm not very clear why it existed, but it did, and we're going to get into that. Hey everybody, this is Perch. Mark Grunwald, John Statma made a six-issue limited series called Avengers Unplugged. Ran from '95 to '96, and it was very much a '90s book. It had a '90s kind of art aesthetic, and everybody was super muscled up. The guys were super strong. The girls were super sexy, and it was definitely a '90s style book. It was never entirely clear why this series was a thing, and most people didn't know it existed. This would be pre, Heroes Reborn, and it was an interesting little anthology series. Basically, every issue had kind of a different thing going on. In the first one, it mainly focuses on Black Widow, Giant Man, Hercules, and Vision, but ultimately it gets into. They do a wedding issue with Titania and Absorbing Man. We get the best issue. Unfortunately, not the one we're reviewing here because we're doing number ones. Is issue number 5, and that had Monica Rambeau, Genisvel, and kind of the discussion around the name of Captain Marvel. And this is where Monica Rambeau went for Photon officially because she wants to respect the Marvel legacy. It's an interesting book because they do a lot about talking here about how it's important to have your own identity. It's important not to take someone else's identity. And that's why she's going to be Photon. That's how she wants to respect the sacrifice that Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, gave. But anyway, the whole point of that issue is kind of blown away about 15 years later. Anyway, issue number 1, we start in, and this is the era where Hercules has got his super leather vest, and they are basically transporting Nefarious into the vault. This is the superhuman prison, and there's some anxiety between the warden there and that Nefarious has been drugged 24 hours a day because he's so dangerous, and that there's lawyers against it. So you see the Gray Gargoyle. We also see a very weird Moonstone is basically gets to suntan. This is it's meant to be kind of incarcerated, but she's just hanging out in sunglasses and bikini, and the guards are just like watching her behind the bars, like, hey. It's a very, very odd sequence. Anyway, sure enough, Nefarious, basically gets free. He runs amok and starts throwing people around and beating up real good. And the place drives him nuts. I can't get over how everybody is like super jacked in this issue. They're either super jacked or they stand in a way where the butt is like severely thrown out to the side. It's funny. This is the comic of everyone's jacked. Anyway, Nefarious basically breaks in to Moonstone's cell, and he spots her there in her bikini. And she tries to seduce him, but he basically chokes her out and breaks her arm. So it says it snaps her arm, but then she runs around and uses it anyway. But the Avengers are on the scene. Hercules takes him down, and Moonstone gets to an elevator and falls down the shaft, and basically makes herself a new costume and starts beating up Vision. So now it's kind of the Avengers fighting in the raft. We've got Hercules and Giant Man and the Vision are taking down. Black Widow's trying to figure out what's going on. So meanwhile, Moonstone is hiding from Nefarious. She tricked him into rejecting the Moon Gem, which is why he's pissed and chasing her around. So he's screaming, but this gives a chance while she is hiding in the rafters. Again, she's got her powers that she can zoom around, but she's hiding in a vent. But that's okay. The Avengers catch up and they start just pummeling him down, and Hercules is just punching, but Nefarious grins back up at him, blasts him with his heat vision, and we get some more basic punching. Fortunately, the Vision is able to alter his molecular density to the state of a diamond, and punches him, but this has no effect either, and the Vision is basically punched out of the mountain. So you get this cutaway view where the Vision is going through several floors of the raft and out the top of the mountain. Moonstone is watching all this from the vent, and finally she gets out, tackled by Black Widow. Again, she's got powers, so it's quite confusing why she's just trading punches with the Russian witch, but that's okay. So anyway, she's like, I'm going to get out of this hole that the Vision made, but the Vision is coming back into it, and she's able to easily defeat him as well. But on the way out, the Black Widow sting catches her, and she's so close, but yet so far, and that's it. She's taken out. Nefarious continues to punch the giant man and Hercules. This is the comic of punching. There's a lot of punching that goes on here, and finally they decide the punching's not working, so let's pick up the Vision and fastball special him. They don't call it that, but let's basically throw him and Nefarious, and that does the job. So it's it's going to clear why that does the job, but anyway. So the Black Widow gets up to the top, and Moonstone has recovered, and they're both got like their moon blast against the Widow's bite, and she's like, hey, if you release that blast, the Avengers will catch up to you, and then we'll put you in a cell next to Nefarious. But if you don't blast me in the face, then you'll be in a cell not next to Nefarious. There's a little bit of show. She's like, yeah, that's a good plan. I'll surrender, and she decides to help Black Widow up, and outwits her, I guess. She's bragging about how she was able to use psychology against her foe, and Moonstone smiling. So I guess she's going back to prison. That's good. This is kind of a confusing ending because again, Moonstone can fly away and just do things. So why it's important not to be in a cell next to Nefarious, especially since he was. I don't know. Anyway, and she helps Black Widow up with her broken arm as well. I guess the arm's not broken. She's got healing powers. Anyway, this it doesn't. You don't think too much about this. This is an issue of punching and muscles. It very much is if you're thinking about a '90s Avengers comic, this probably fits the bill pretty well. Like I said, it was unclear why they did this. I guess it was able to feature some of the other members of the Avengers, and I don't know. The issue is called Unchain My Heart, which is also, I've got a lot of questions here. But anyway, I don't quite get it. Anyway, Glenn Harding, MC Wyman are the writer and the pencils. It's what's curious is that Marvel advertises this as John Statma and Mark Grunwald as the creative team, as I mentioned earlier. But actually inside the comics, I'm looking at it now, it's Glenn Harding and MC Wyman. So, okay. That makes sense. Why not? Do you remember this comic? Like I said, the Avengers didn't do a lot of these crossovers and spin-offs and other things. There actually wasn't that many of them. But, there was this one. And this was what they were doing in the 90s. This would be what the Avengers world would become in 15 years. How about that? All right, well, let me know your comments below. Let me know what you think of this issue, whether you liked it, hated it, remembered it. That would be a good one. If you understand why Glenn Harding was a writer, or Mark Grunwald, who is it? Nobody knows. Anyway, sure. There you have it. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications if you feel that way. And you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Comic Perch. But most importantly, thanks for listening.